Had you stuck to your childhood dream job or career, what could you be doing today, or who could you be?
I would be an accountant.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you were a child, you were asked, what do you want to be?
I really loved mathematics. I don't know kulienda aje. I used to do very well in mathematics.
Yeah.
Actually, I think in primary school I scored the highest in mathematics.
Yeah.
But when I got to secondary school, I got to form 2. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Ni kama hesabu ilikuwa ngumu, and then I didn't love mathematics I used to love it, but I bet also the teachers matter. You know, sometimes you get an aggressive teacher and you just find yourself hating mathematics at the end of the day. But I used to love doing mathematics, and I dreamt always being an accountant.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm living my dream job.
Yeah.
That is my childhood. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is my childhood dream job.
Yeah.
I'm living it, and I'm always grateful for it. But if I was not this, I'd be literally a chef.
Oh.
I'll be in the kitchen.
All right. I've always loved journalism from day one, ever since. And one thing, if I was not doing journalism, I'd be in a fashion school, or I'd be in a fashion, a department somewhere. Because it's so funny when I told my cousin, who we grew up together, one day that I'm actually on radio, and then she was like, she's not seen me for years and years, and she's like, I'm not surprised, I definitely knew you'd land into
But I
this
think
kind of field.
career goals changes all the time.
Yeah.
I remember after primary school,
Yeah.
I no longer wanted to become an accountant.
Yeah.
After that, I wanted to I wanted to do network design.
Yeah.
And after that, after now school, I wanted to do building and construction.
Yeah.
And after it became impossible for me,
Yeah.
now I really loved radio,
Yeah.
but I also loved fashion.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what I
What
want,
you want,
but
yeah.
I knew I'm going to do something with fashion,
Yeah.
something with I'll always, sometimes the universe is always into your thoughts, and
Yeah.
I kept on saying, someday I'll be famous. There was even some time I dreamt of seeing myself in a television, and I dreamt so loud that everybody hadn't woke up.
Yeah.
And they're like, what did you say?
Yeah.
Tomorrow you'll see me on the television. And they were like, where?
Yeah.
And I went back to sleep.
I mean, dreams come true.
Yeah.
Literally, I do believe in the power of your energy. I mean, and what you manifest in. I always say every day, speak out what you wish, and it will always come to happen. And literally, we are a living testimony.
And most of the time, the universe is listening, even to the thoughts, without even you speaking to it. It's
Yeah.
listening to your thoughts.
Yeah, literally. But anyway, talking about school and careers, yesterday there was a release of Class 8 exams. We saw the leading student from group of schools. First and foremost, it was Riara group of schools. I didn't expect him to be from the group of schools, but the Swahili was super clean, sanifu, and I saw him, and I was reading at the comments, and I'm like, people are hating, what wako like, you'd get marks right now for 48 na utakuja tu kuseti pahali.
No, I saw
in a
people
few
saying,
months.
hiyo urefu yako yote unafaa kuwa form 4.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of people actually body shaming these kids first and foremost, of which I want us to talk about that just as a, as a short conversation on that also. And I also want us to talk about the educational system. Yesterday we were on the streets, and I was telling Katie, I've seen somebody get 460 marks. 450 marks back then. But right now, when you look at the educational system in Kenya, unapata 420, 415, the marks have really gone down. And I was asking, what do you think the reason of this is? Mbona the educational system is it because, I'm thinking, back then there was a lot of scandals za kuiba mtihani. People used to leakage of exams, and it's not even the end of it, because every time there is a examination, KCSE or KCPE examination, there's always somebody who is being caught leaking exams somewhere, either principal and stuff like that. But again, is it because now students are not really keen on education itself? You see, right now you find a student in class 4 or class 5, really good with PS games, you know, and I do believe there's a way they can make money out of it, you know. Only I don't know if in Kenya if it works, but
does.
video games are actually really pay, you know. Apart from even that, there's a lot of talent that goes. You go to TikTok and you see them dancing, and you're like, you are just 3 years old. How do you know how to choreograph all this, you know, and stuff like that. I believe there is diversity in also talents and a lot of stuff, not only education, which has led also to, you know, education going down. As per my thought, I don't know what you guys have to say about it.
I was looking at the statistics, and in 2003 there was a student called Calvin Nyakundi who scored 482 marks.
I told you for 80.
Missing only 18 marks to the
to
total
500,
score,
yeah.
you know. And I was like, okay, right now the average or the highest score is a 428.
Yeah.
What is happening with the education and also the curriculum? Because the curriculum has faced a lot of challenges, because these children, they have been troubled by the way. These children, they are lucky they have finished the school. They have been troubled by the curriculum, and they were the last one to do it for 4. But now what has happened is, do you remember the Matiang'i era?
Yeah.
This is when we started seeing the drops.
I was a Matiang'i baby.
I was also a Matiang'i baby in primary, probably.
Yeah.
And like we used to see now people scoring a lot of marks, and then after Matiang'i came, he tightened the security, and those people who used to cheat in examinations now they started getting caught. Even teachers who used to leak examinations to their students, they started to be caught. So I bet Kitambo there was a lot of cheating, and also Kitambo there was no there were not those developments like right now. We have choreographers, just like you've said. We have video games. We have children who knows how to operate an iPad by themselves at the age of 3, you know. So I guess that also at that time was letting children be stuck more in books than be on the phones, on the tabs, you know. I bet that was what's happening.
Well, I agree with you 100%. But question number 1: how comes there's no one who's also ever scored 500?
Hey,
Because
you can.
Why can't you?
Because you can't.
Always hear
For
people saying
example,
that.
you
Why?
can't. You can't get, you say, 50 out of 50.
There's
Why?
always
What if I can't?
you can't. There's always that marks that is deducted for the children who had challenges during their examinations.
Why are they deducting my marks? It's mine.
It's yours, but now you have to now favor even those who had problems to get into the even examination places. Because remember, Joby, right now this flooding, we had children who are affected by getting to schools. So those children, sometimes they get to the exam rooms, it's very late, and the government, it's called standardization. The government find ways to standardize so that now if they release the marks, it's equal to everyone. If you had maybe for 80 marks, there's like 10 deducted, so that they can standardize and share to the rest of the
As for me, I think that's very unfair. But again, I do agree on what you say. On where actually right now we're so digitalized. You know, we have so much in advance. We have laptops, we have tablets, we have phones, we have a lot literally within children's access, students' access. And like you said, I have a nephew, I've said that before, who's really smart on games, really like this guy, I don't know, sijui hata anaongea na kina nani, and he's really doing great in it. But when it comes to studies, ana score ako huko chini, hata apigwe mara ngapi, like humse akili yake haiko hapo, akili yake ikirudi kwa games ako sawa, he can answer anything. But on kwa shule mse, I swear is really like ako chini mbaya. But I feel like again the system, just like you said, how many ministers of education have we had changed within just a year, within a term, let's say in 5 years? Because I remember we had Matiang'i. During Matiang'i's time, like you just said, actually people were doing great. There was a lot of strictness going on, but there's been changes, and there's always changes in between, and there's always strike of teachers again, which also does slow down the education system, rather the classes. You see that most of the students wanakosa kuwa attend classes because the teachers are not in school. There's also where students also are lacking school fees, where majority of the times I'll have to be home because my parents has to feed me on a hand-to-mouth situation before I tap at school fees, So I believe there's literally a lot pros and cons on it, but again, how has the education literally of today in Africa as a whole, not just Kenya, helped us? That is where we need to begin. Exactly. Where we had the other guy, can't remember his name, Andrew something.
Onyango Tate.
Saying it's all a matrix. We need to start realizing how also this is scoring and helping our lives at the long run. Where are the skills to apply?
Yeah, literally I do agree with both of you. I think education is good. We've had this conversation before. It's only that the educational system in Kenya is kind of corrupted, and when you understand the matrix, then you'll definitely understand what is going on with the educational system in Kenya. But apart from that, let me read a few comments as we start our conversation. I see Mr. Black on Fire is in the building. He's saying Katie's hair looks so cool, like something from my mother's generation back in the 70s, like Foxy Brown or Cleopatra Jones. And he's also saying, Shmani, yes, life is a lesson, and it is to be lived in joy. He also says, I believe that Shmani, you're very fashionable and probably one of the most fashionable people I know. I also see kids saying, speak out and put emotion behind your thoughts and do 3-6-9 rule to help you manifest it faster. Karibu sana. And to those who are locked in on our TikTok page, karibu. Now